Let me get y'all situated. Ooh. Cause my Oh, I'm not trying to highlight. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's Oh, okay. It's not a wraparound, it's a put over, but I can't put this over the afro. I don't okay. We got it to work. This is the bag. I only got basically crabs today. I just got Dungeness crabs, potato, and I think the corn is in here. I had broccoli from earlier in the week from something else I ordered. So, and then I got a homemade iced tea, but they ain't poke no hole in my top. And if you from Philly, you know how I feel about that. Because you're supposed to poke a hole in the top, poke a hole in the top, poke a hole in the top. So first, let's put the broccoli in there. Oh, wow. These people didn't even cut up that broccoli. Y'all see how big this broccoli is? Like, how was I supposed to eat this? Irie. That's where I got it from, this Jamaican spot. But damn. Gotta shake this up. Get some seasoning on that broccoli. Let's taste this. Because since I won't be able to poke a hole in the top myself, I don't want to spill it. Make sure they doing the homemade iced tea right. Hey, I did have jerk chicken. I had jerk chicken earlier in the week. That's where I got the broccoli from. Somewhere I ordered jerk chicken from. Let's see how this tastes. They knew what they was doing. I just wish they would have poked a hole in my top. It's seafood. It's Dungeness crabs, y'all. Dungeness crabs is what's in the bag. Where I be at? What you mean where I be at? I don't, what you mean by that? Where do I be at? Okay, I had to say my grace. How everybody been though? What's been up? I'm from Philly. Where you from? Everybody put where they from in the comments or in the live. All right, I had to make sure I could like see the comments outside of that part. But yeah, I'm kind of mad they didn't poke a hole in the top because this is kind of in the way. What city you from? Wow, this time they didn't even cut my potatoes. Y'all, look at this big potato. Look how big this potato is. That potato is huge. This time I only got hot as the like spice level because no king should be spicy. It's given this time they crabs a little skimp because like skimp on the meat and the inside. But this one already was given it. Get my little paper bag for my crumbs. But how everybody feeling? How was last week? How was the last couple of weeks? I haven't been live. But I have been posting. You know, the biggest thing I'm glad about, happy about myself these days is that, like, I really do always make sure if I'm craving something to eat, I fulfill that craving, like, real bad. Because I just wanted crabs. Well, first, I wanted a happy hour, but I just wanted crabs. I was like, all right, let me get it. But I was like, originally I wanted to go out, but when I was like, I really don't feel like being bothered as much as I think I do. So I was like, let me just order. I actually have Simmons playing in the background. I do want to talk about it, but I want to wait until, like, some people I know come into the live, and if they do. Ooh. Yeah, it probably was busy. Because this don't slap like the first 2 times I got this joint. But y'all, I am exhausted in real life. Like, part of me doing this is also because your girl just finished working 7 days a week. And I don't want to be technical. I'm still working. So, last week, I did my regular full-time job. And then I ended up deciding to work the Truist Golf tournament, right? Which was 4 days long, Thursday to Sunday. Y'all, and that was still full-time working that too. I mean, if not a little more, because they had us. So the company I ended up working for this event had us. They told us our call time was like 9:30. However, they had us meeting at a shuttle. Ooh, that was with the 9, like, we had to get a shuttle basically to get to the field. But these people was out here not paying us until we got all the way to the tent. So not even just the field, but the tent. And my thing is, it's not like you could skip the shuttle. You had to take the shuttle. And you had to basically walk once you got off that shuttle. So it was a lot. Because it didn't require us to have to leave earlier than the original travel time we mapped out. And yummy, it is good as shit. Go ahead, eat dinner with me. Go ahead, pop your food in the microwave, start cooking, whatever you gotta do. It's dinner time. But yeah, we had to wake up hella early, and then eventually on Friday it rained and it was windy, and it had us coming earlier. Child, I'm so grateful that they ended up cutting the shift at least by 3. I should have cut it earlier because your girl was tensing up in the neck, shoulders, everything. And it was way too much for your girl. But outside of travel and stuff, it was a cool event to be working. And I don't know, it had me out here really learning about golf and country club, how much that stuff costs. Like, golfers really get paid a lot of money, even if you lose, which is interesting. It's just a very rich sport, it seems like. But in working them, basically, I ain't had no break yet because I had to come right back to work Monday to the regular 9 to 5. And the whole point of me doing it was to try to supplement for when I miss work. For my birthday trip at the end of the month. Because I am a contracted office worker. And since I'm a contractor office worker, I don't get paid time off. And with me not getting paid time off, that just means I'm out of money for that time that I had off. So I'm like, let me try to fulfill it, fill it up. But I overworked myself. Now I could barely talk. That's why I say I'm all butchered up, because I'm exhausted. But bear with me. I've been feeling like I dropped my vlog, and I've been neglecting everything ever since because I was working. Hey, Key to Travel. How are you? How's life? OG subbies. But the work I do, that be like these events, be cool. And they pay well. And they help me meet so many people. Different kinds of people. So, I'm grateful. I haven't done a mukbang in a while. And now I'm like, low key, I might have to do this more often because it's easier for me to talk while I'm eating. Well, not easier to talk while I'm eating, but like, when I be on here, and if it's like people don't come in, sometimes I be feeling like, oh, I should just get off the live. But I'm trying to do better at just doing it more for my own consistency than necessarily doing it because I want y'all to be here, if that makes sense. Like, so yeah, I am grateful that I was able to work from home today, though. So, child, when I mean a zombie, I had a whole doctor's appointment that I had several alarms for, that I woke up early for, and I still found myself basically kind of behind once I got out there. I just felt like today has been a day where I feel like I'm moving, I'm talking, I'm alive, but nothing feels like it's going to stick. Like, I still felt really tired. Everything. So yeah, it just reminded me of me in my 20s, like hustling mentality me, who just like aggressively is always going after a dollar. And I was like, this is so on brand to happen a couple weeks before my birthday because I'm a new woman. I don't need to hustle. Like, in the manner of what hustling can entail from a space of lack, right? It's unnecessary. We gotta be more luxurious in the spirit so that that's what I attract. So I'm just like, don't need to hustle. Money comes to me, honey. What's new with everybody? How are we feeling? With summer about to be here. Unfortunately, I had to cancel one of my performances. I'm really mad they ain't put no on my top. Cause I'm gonna have to keep opening up my iced tea just to like drink it. But I'm proud of myself. Cause I really was about to go outside for nothing. When everything will be right here. I'm so glad I seen Centers at IMAX for my first time in seeing Centers. Like, because that shit was beautiful. What's your favorite kind of seafood or crab? Do everybody eat seafood in chat? I think Dungeness is my favorite kind of crab. When it comes to like big crab legs, I think I like blue crab and stuff for sure. Like a full body, because it's so nostalgic. But when it comes to crab legs, I just feel like I like these better than I like snow crabs. How about y'all? Mm-mm-mm. You know the sauce good when your nose be on him. Mm-hmm. Let me dip it in my sauce. Put it down. Well, I guess I would say we could start getting centers. But now nobody in here. But that's okay. We really can. Shout out to everybody that liked this live though. I thought maybe a mukbang is different for Movie Monday. I thought, I don't know. Maybe we'll get some different traction, some new folk, which we kind of did. Okay, nice and that. But this is... Yeah, I think underneath is just more fluffier. So it's fuller. I feel like ever since I've seen Centers, though, I've been humming more. And it's always the same type of hum they doing in the movie. But I think this was a great movie in cinematography, storytelling, history. Like showing a different lens in history. And fantasy. So yeah, after this week, y'all, I'm gonna be, after this weekend's gig, I'm gonna be chilling until my birthday. Until after my birthday trip. I'll be doing more relaxing things. I'm trying to get this hair situated. Woo-cha! Both of these potatoes really big as shit. Which is crazy. But yeah, I think Sinners is one of, it's something you can really watch over and over again. Cause it's really just that good. Like, Ryan Coogler, Michael Biehn, they ate that up entirely. Ate it up entirely. And couldn't nobody say otherwise. Ate it up. I was hyped because since I saw it at IMAX, I got to take a poster of it. Poster home. So now that poster is up in my room. And I got these prints that I bought from this flea market a couple years ago that ironically matched the time and vibe of Sinners. So I placed them around the poster. It's real cute. All right, let me try to get some juice. Still watching Suits. Can't really get into Black Mirror. When you don't poke a hole in the top, I gotta take this off all nicely. That's okay, but it could be better. I'm glad I just got the Dungeonies. I'm kind of getting full already. Yeah, the potatoes are unnecessary because they so big. Like, it's unnecessary. But yeah, Sinners has so many themes. I feel like on a spiritual level, it basically tells you the devil can't get in unless you allow him. You got to invite the enemy into your home, which is very true. But once you invite him in, you have to understand the power that you just gave him. And like, as that, it was that being one of the basic themes of the movie in itself, to me, set it up for success already, right? Because I feel like a lot of movies these days is really surface level, really just, you know, here's the skeleton of what's supposed to happen. No real meat, no real flesh. But here we have Sinners, which is called Sinners, and the lesson being, well, one of the lessons, the obvious lessons of things, is that you let the enemy into your home. And that's the sin in itself. In addition, there's certain things certain characters are saying that, to me, speaks to the history of Black people and to community and to how community was developed over time between people from different parts of the world. So I feel like it's a good joint. I love that we get sort of a happy ending, or justice, because I feel like a lot of times Black stories don't end with Black people getting justice in any way. So I appreciate that about this movie too. And the cinematography was just amazing. Just over the top amazing. Now, it's not I don't feel like it's a difficult movie to understand or comprehend. But I don't know. That could be me. Y'all got to let me know in the comments below if you're watching this post actual live. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what surprised you, what didn't, questions you have, things that kept you wondering. I thought it was interesting that he decided to do the 2 deleted scenes, or the credit scenes, like how they do in Marvel. I wonder if that's a hint to any sequels, or, like, I don't know. I don't really think it would be a sequel, but still, you never know. You just never know. I'm just going to eat all of this tonight because I don't even want to have to try to reheat it. Do y'all reheat y'all seafood boils? If so, what's your preferred method? Child, you know stuff good when you get quiet. I forgot y'all was there. Focus, man. Focus, focus. That's what it is. I'm focused, man. I'm surprised at the technique at myself. I'm gonna sleep so good. I haven't had a homemade iced tea in a very long time. They're just hood staples, you know? Just hood staples. Shout out to the 7 people that like this video. Hopefully, if you're watching in post, you like it still. Even though I'm like talking to you later on in life. Oh, my mom cracking up. I don't know what she laughing at. But she cracking up. A lot of people have been tuning into Forever on Netflix. Heard that was good. My mom watched it. One of the girls I was picking up on the way to work during the tournament. She thought it was good too. She'll be in the vlog of this weekend. I ain't gonna hold you. I think I just like Michael B. Jordan better as a good guy. You know what also was really interesting? So, on, I think that was Thursday night. I met up with a friend for the first time, or an associate, because we don't really know each other still. And we went to something, and on our way to this thing, basically, I seen the guy from the Joe Budden podcast, right? And y'all, and seeing this man, I didn't realize that the reason why he looked familiar to me is because he's off the podcast. So I was staring at him as if I was staring at him as if I was about to say hi, like I knew him. And he was staring back like he knew me. When I finally get close enough to about to say hello, it dawns on me like I don't know him. I know of him from YouTube, from watching Joe Budden. So I don't speak, because why would I speak to a stranger, right? But what really had me hung up was the fact that he looked like he was about to speak to me. So I say to the person I'm with, I'm like, that was just the guy from Joe Budden's podcast. And I'm like, I'm glad I didn't say hi, because I don't know him. And I was about to speak. And then she even admitted too, she said, I thought you did know him, because was like, I thought you didn't know him because he looked like he was about to speak to you too. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't tripping. Now, no matter what, it's probably a good thing I didn't speak, because if he was looking at me like he was going to speak to me and we don't know each other, then he probably would have been trying to holler. And at the end of the day, I have strict rules when it comes to age and dating for me personally. So I'm cool. And he not one of the people on the podcast who I feel like is the, like, to me he's funny, but he's not, I don't know if he's the smartest person. Oh, hi, Beans. Yeah, technically I stay in my brother's room now that I moved back home. So that's why Lil Wayne's still up there. Because I just feel like to take somebody's and the seafood's great, is good, but to take somebody's like childhood room and like take down all their stuff and stuff like that is like corny. So but the seafood is great. Life is great. It's funny. It has me randomly seeing people from Joe Budden podcast. And I got to see famous golfers this week too. So, yeah. Because my little brother's in my room. So, he ain't really making his own. Just feel like it's only right. But this week, honestly, I'm looking forward to figuring out what I'm doing to relax more. And actually relaxing. Although I have 2 concerts I'm going to this week, too, by myself. Well, I'm meeting people who also got their own tickets that I know who are going, but I might essentially be alone as well, because I didn't buy my ticket with anybody. But I got 2 concerts to go to during the week. I want to go to this burlesque show that my friends are in. But I just feel like I had a really busy last week. Or like right now, technically, I'm going on a 12-day working spree. No breaks. Ooh, excuse me. So I'm like, I just feel like if I got a concert on the 13th, a concert on the 14th, and the burlesque thing is on the 15th. That's every night. That's every night. That's every night. So I think that's too much. I need to like sleep for 3 days. For real, for real. After this, I can't eat no more.
You can't ship me $20.
Yeah. No! Mom, get her out of here. You know the way we got messy food.
Come on.
Back the heck up.
Come on. I'm sorry. You know she can't resist.
I know. Bye, Marley.
Come on.
Goodbye, Marley.
Come on, get out. She was like, the door open.
if I could choose, what would I rather do to relax? I just want to sleep. I feel just really tired. Like, I feel like when you don't get enough rest, your brain doesn't work right. Your body doesn't work right. Your brain doesn't work right. Like, even me cracking these. I feel like I'm about to go into a shaking spree soon because I've been doing this for almost an hour, which is not normal, but it's because I just been on my feet, doing things, talking to people, smiling, driving, work, 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 work. So if sleep wasn't the thing that I was going to do to relax, I have some spa days I need to like book. Like I had some people treated me to the spa for Christmas, so I have to get that situated. I think that'll be a good relax. I did get this like great massage from this my friend a couple months ago, and he said that I could book again, so I could use that as a resource. My birthday should have a lot of relaxation because travel for me and being in new environments is really relaxing. Um, and I'm going to a new country that I haven't been to before, so that should be cool. I feel my social battery be hella drained. Yeah, and that's how I feel. Like, definitely when I work these events, social battery be shot because literally I'm social the whole time. Like, my job is to be cute, to customer serve a little bit where I can, and make people feel good while they're at the event. So I be craving to be around people or do stuff, and then I realize I can't. We are going to Colombia for my birthday. At first I was like, oh, I should surprise y'all, but they don't need to do all that. I'm going to Colombia. My brother's been living there for a few years now. He comes home very often, but he got a whole place out there, all that stuff. He does business. He hosts different travel groups. So I was like, this year I should come down there and experience what everybody been experiencing. Cartagena for now. I don't know if we'll take a trip to Medellin. I think my brother has a place in Medellin, or did have a place in Medellin. I'm getting so full, y'all. Oh my God. Alright, yeah, I think I'm full. Oh, I didn't know I had a whole nother body. Okay. I'm full. I can't do no more of that. Salud. I'm so full. And I'm so happy because now I feel like I got that good itis kind of full. Like I could go to sleep. I ain't gonna hold you too. One thing about watching like older movies or movies that's based on the older times, like Sinners and stuff like that, the love be so like strong and pure. It be so like, it just seemed like, you know, I mean, and it makes sense, right? Without so much techie stuff and superficial things, you kind of only got the basis of living and making sure you live or you try to survive in life. So like, falling in love with somebody probably just is what social media does. It stimulates probably like how social media would. But they be so like, do you know how I feel? I would kill for you, but I can't love you. But it's interesting to me how people watch Sinners and they made it about like love stories and shit, because to me, the movie was so much bigger than the love story of Smoke and Stack and who they were talking to. Right now, Sinners is on, but I watch Sinners in IMAX. And if you ask me, that's what I highly recommend. But I don't think they have an IMAX no more right now. So, but this is something you watch in IMAX. For my first time in seeing it, I watched it in IMAX, and I loved it. Outside of Sinners, movie wise, I haven't really been watching movies because I feel like a lot of them are just that surface level I was talking about. Like they're not. I kind of can predict them. I like Sinners a lot. I rate it 8 out of 10. Um, I just think that a lot of times when it comes to black art or black artistry or artists or anything with our history, people, you gonna either have people who love it or you gonna have people who hate it. You gonna have people who see how, even though slavery, post-slavery, and like how we were treated or all these things, how we still being treated now, even all those things are trauma and bad and things like that. There is so much beauty in black people and how black people are able to survive, prosper, and move forward through any trial tribulation that they're forced to deal with. And I feel like with Sinners, I think people, I don't watch, like I'm not a person that really gets into like all the critiques and stuff before stuff comes out or before I see it, because I feel like that's how I end up not being able to have my own perspective on what's going on in a film or on in a series. So I did see some stuff where people were upset, I guess, and they felt like it wasn't that good or the acting isn't that great. I don't think that's true at all. Um, I don't think this is about them being in love with these women. Like, I don't even feel like Ryan Coogler really emphasized that much, like, scene on the love specifically. I think that between Smoke and his wife, or his ex-wife, or his ex-girl, or his baby mother, whoever, I feel like they kind of show more. I mean, I feel like they show it. Don't get me wrong, no, they show it. They show it. But, like, I just think that it was so many bigger themes in this. Like, from even talking about, like, blues and how blues is our home and we made blues, and how, like, later on, it's like when they get past being in this time and we figure out, you know, what happens towards the end, um, they talk about the loss of like live music and how blues hit so much different hearing it live. And I think it's beautiful to see. Like, I feel like watching and knowing that our people was able to create safe spaces for themselves and try to dance and sing through all the stuff that they were going through is like a testimony. And Ryan Coogler ate this scene up when the juke joint finally has this, like, you know, first song from Sam. He literally has all these different forms of black music and art and dance, and not even just black, but the history of art and music, and how at the end of the day Black music, art, and dance is music and art and dance, and it is where things derive from. Our musicality is such an influence on everything. And then I liked how, because there was Asians' presence in this, we didn't overlook how their history or their connection to music and stuff plays a role too. Or even just incorporating them in this proves that, I like that Ryan Coogler included other ethnicities in this, and when showing historical representation, because I feel like even when we do watch like slave stuff or like different movies, I always feel like they'll have a whole movie with all white people, like black people just wasn't here during that time. And it's crazy because we have been here since the beginning of America. So it's very interesting. Yeah, Mike, it's not my it's Ryan. It's Ryan Coogler. Um he's amazing. And he did a great job. He really did a great job with this. Like, this dance scene is so powerful. So powerful. And what's really interesting is like the history of the the African mass like dancer people is interesting. Like with this scene of how he symbolizes the fire and the juke joint being like, this is just such great symbolism, artistry. Like, seriously, he just ate this up. Like, he just really ate this up. He really ate this up. What are you watching nowadays? What movies are y'all getting into? What have you seen? What haven't you seen yet? What are you excited to see? I heard that Lilo and Stitch is coming out. Excited to see that. I'm going to take this downstairs in a second. But yeah. What was your, why were you hesitant to see to watch Sinners? What's your time? What's sci-fi or dystopian series you watching? And that's the thing. This is, I see why they were trying to say this is kinda Afrofuturistic. So it's interesting because I feel like it's not Afrofuturistic in the sense of like what your typical concept of Afrofuturism is. So like your concept of Afrofuturism is reimagining. Well, no, it is. Okay, so it's reimagining basically the life of African Americans, and it's the reimagining of historical context and placing us in future or like present kind of things. So like it's kind of basically reimagining us in spaces that I feel like a lot of people leave us out of. And in this case, we are reimagining a time specific piece, and bringing zombies and vampires into it, which kind of, I guess, comes to that like why it's Afrofuturistic. And I feel like the dance scene in itself kind of gives that type of like surrealism, fantasy, kind of weird artistry part. Tell us the list. Tell us some of the stuff on the list. But yeah, I enjoy a lot of like sci-fi stuff and things like that. Like, I do watch it, but I like stuff that, I don't know, I could really like get into it. I don't really like, I haven't really gotten more into Black Mirror this season. I feel like they're making the same thing over and over again, which also I think is always very tempting. CeeLo, I heard that was really good. I watched Severance. I need to watch the second season. Haven't heard of Foundation, but I'll look into it. I have Apple TV too. Yeah, I didn't like the first episode of the new Black Mirror. I just feel like they doing the same shit, to be honest. It's all around the same themes. Like, it's always, oh, we don't want to die. How can we stay alive? Oh, this person is not really out there about their sexuality, or they don't want to be in a relationship, or they don't like it. Sex scene, sex scene. Oh, realize that there's no shortcuts in life, and you gotta die, or you gotta do this, or you gotta do that, and then end of the episode. So, like, for me, Black Mirror just be like stuff like that over and over again. Like, the first episode was literally, to me, another version of I don't want to die, or I can't cope with the fact that somebody has died, and I'm trying to find a way to keep them around. And then later on, realizing that the more you keep people here when it's time for them to go, the more they're unhappy, and so will you. Like, so yeah. And I realized that I don't pay attention to stuff like that. If I know, like, if I know what's going to happen, I'm not about to be glued into it. And I think, like, when I was watching that first episode of Black Mirror, I just was like, I just wasn't engaged. Like, I was just so not interested. Like, I'm like, oh, the brain, and it's this chip, and you downloaded all your memory, and oh, I'm like, we've been here, done that. Like, as a real science sci-fi person, I guess, or like who really be into like stuff about different time dimensions and all these other things, I'm like, we've did this so many times. Like, we know that technically the idea of trying to stay alive forever is stupid. There is a blessing in getting old, but it's even more of a blessing in dying naturally. Like, but to sit here and try to be here for the rest of your life all the time, it's just like, bro, give it up. Give up the concept. Yeah, so the reason I give it a chance is because I enjoy watching others give their take on storyline. I feel that. I feel that for sure. Just me personally, I haven't been seeing much people do something different that made me be like, oh, yes, I'm glad I watched it. You gave a great take on a different storyline. I don't feel that. Who's your favorite directors? Since we talking about directing. Because to me, when you do stuff and it's a reoccurring theme or idea, I think it's important to try to bring something different to the detail or something different to it. And I think that a lot of times, because most stuff and just in general with how society and people receive things, we are looking for hyperstimulation, right? We're always looking for hyperstimulation. So I feel like the desire that people have to be engaged in something is so prevalent that the people who are creating things are making things that's just going to give them that. It's very microwave society. Like, they're just going to give them that. So you put Tracy Ellis Ross, a couple other people who are big like actors. You give a skeleton basis storyline, and you make sure you add some sex in there. You add some conspiracy theory, like tricklings and cools, and basically whoever watches it is gonna be like, this is great. I was on the edge of my seats. When it's like, then you have something like Paradise, right? Where it's like, okay. Now, I don't know. I feel like there's other shows and movies where technically you're in some type of simulation that's like Earth, but it's not Earth. Or it's not the real life you used to have on Earth, right? And I feel like they did a good job with Paradise, because that's somebody giving that's a writer that gave a different perspective to a story kind of that or idea that's been around. And I think that directing wise, it was good. But then I also think that the acting choices and the actors did great too. So I feel like when you create a story with a little more depth, it kind of gives more room to see a different perspective. But if you're only doing the skeleton of it, it's still going to be a similar skeleton because all our skeletons are similar, not the figurative skeletons, but the skeletons of a body, right, are literally similar as fuck. So it's kind of like that. Like, I was just telling somebody, like, the difference between Sinners and a Jordan Peele film, scary movie or whatever, is that to me, Jordan Peele is very surface level. Like, and he is more of a cinematographer who knows how to make things look really nice, and the color grading and all that is great. But in regards to, like, if I'm going to watch his shit over, I don't. I did not watch Get Out more than probably 2 times in my whole life. 3 is stretching it. I definitely didn't go see Nope or watch Nope again. It was cold, but it wasn't that great to me. I think, what was it? Us? I did like Us. And I think I kind of watched that maybe twice. But this, I've been itching to see this again in the movies. Like, I wanted to see it again in IMAX. Again and again and again in IMAX. Because it felt more like it felt like it could be a real story, but you also know that it's probably not a real story because vampires don't exist. But it's so many layers. So, like, that's what I be liking. But this also, like, encouraged me and made me feel like I need to get back into my film stuff. Like, granted, yes, we know that I worked on a short film. We know I'm premiering a short film in the fall. We know I did get somebody to reach out to me and asked me to be a part of another, as an actress though, to be a part of another production. I need to read that script actually in the next 48 hours and see when they want to film. But it also made me, like, excited to try to get back into myself as a cinematographer and, like, what I can create in video. And I hope that as I keep editing old footage, I'll be able to explore that more and take more time to explore that, because I feel like to a certain extent, I've lost that a bit. So I was happy to see this because it just felt like I know black people made this. I know black people made this, from it being behind the scenes, from being in the screen. Black people did this, and I know that if they can, I can, right? So it was really nice. It was really nice. We love Tracy Ellis Ross. Right now, I feel like Tracy Ellis Ross is that's kind of mean. You know what I'm saying? So, and not for nothing, this part kills me because I just really wish they would have just never went back. Like, she should have just, stayed inside, mind the business, let the white people be outside. But yeah. All right, it's 8:30. I ain't gonna hold you. I got the itis, child. I got the itis. Yeah. And I mean, I don't even feel like it's just black social media. I think that's just social media, period. Like, I don't I feel like with a lot of times within the black community, we are always summing a lot of our negatives up to being only us doing us this way. And I feel like we ignore the fact that there are a lot of people who are concerned with us versus us not being concerned with them. So, like, I just think that it's society in general. Cause like, even with the whole like politics right now, right? And like who's in office, who's president, what he does and how he does it. At the end of the day, most of the people who listen to the things he say are just people who are victims of that, of what I was talking about. Victims of being obsessed with being stimulated. Because they like, people don't listen and comprehend anymore. People don't know how to listen and comprehend. People don't know how to understand a story or even write one. Like, so it just be way too much. What you mean you think it adds to gender misunderstandings that's been plaguing the social streets? I don't know what you're saying. What misunderstandings we talking about? Like, even in this scene, when she go out there to talk to them white folk, um, so Tracy Ross said something to the nature of, oh no, this is what she was saying. So Tracy Ellis Ross basically came and said she dates the younger guys, millennials, because at the end of the day, people her age still feel A, B, and C about whatever. As someone who is turning 31 and who has been approached by a lot of men who are 50 something, 60 something, 70 something, there's nothing wrong with it at all. What she's saying is true. Most of them old ass niggas don't look at women in a certain way. But to be honest, to me, I don't even think that at this point in life, she's lucky to find even millennials that act like whatever. Like, I feel like with her, the millennials that she's dating, she lucky, but she's dating them. She's lucky that she's Tracy Ellis Ross, because at the end of the day, as a millennial, there are a lot of millennials who also be out here very, very, very lost in the understanding of what women are. I really like when people say that a lot of men don't like women, like men don't like women. I myself feel like I can see where they're coming from. Oh, sorry, this is about to cook up. It's about to cook up and on center. Sorry, it's about to, life about to get, you know, spicy. But but yeah, like she made total sense. Like it's sad. It'd be a lot of people like that, and it's like, yeah, Tracy Ellis Ross. I understood what she was saying, but at the same time, she's still not with nobody, because it's just be interesting about how people internalize what relationships are supposed to be, how we should interact with one another, who should be dating who roles is where. Like, all that stuff be so like subjective, and it just seems like we are living in a time where, because people lack foundational skills of comprehension and other things of that nature, like the fact that people think that they can argue with fact, like they could use their opinions to argue with fact, is a problem. But it's because most people don't even know how to differentiate an opinion from a fact, how to fact check or anything like that these days. So I ain't mad at her. I ain't mad at her. And it's not predatory. And it's not in a way that's like, I'm trying to date a younger guy because I want to control him. Because a lot of times, these old heads be on type time like that. For real, for real. So yeah. Shout out to Tracy Ellis Ross for never settling. I will humbly disagree. I believe people just like what they like. Humbly disagree with what? Like, why she likes the younger men? She said that. She literally says it in the interview. She says she specifically talks to the younger guys because they have a better understanding of, like, she's a woman who does her, who is who she is. I believe I was back in the guy's side. I wasn't disagreeing with T. Ross. The guy's side. I still don't. You have to be specific. What are you addressing? What like you kind of not. You kind of not just saying what you want to address. Address what you gotta say. Like, everything but exactly what you trying to say. I was addressing the guy's side. What guy's side? I said a lot of shit in the last minute. Are you saying that a lot of guys don't like women? You don't agree with that? I agree. As a woman, I agree. I think there are a lot of guys who think they like women, but they don't. They like what they think women are here to do. A lot of guys think, sadly, I'm not saying all. It's not all men. It's not all men. It's not most men. It's just a lot of men. Not all men, not most men. But there is a lot of men that I feel like they don't really like women. They like being accepted by their male friends. They like, they like men, to be honest. They just don't know. They just don't realize that that's what that is. Like, there's men who literally are with women. They think it's because they like them, but it's really because they want to impress other men. Like, they want to be, the guy that they saying gets all the bitches and stuff like that. Oh, that's not true at all. Guys who go younger is never predatory. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. As someone who literally has experienced a predator, it's bullshit. It's never predatory. That's a preference. No, it's definitely, and I'm not saying it's always predatory. But yes, just like there are women who go after younger guys and it is predatory. But it's definitely men out here who are being predatory. So P. Diddy wasn't being predatory, it was his preference. R. Kelly wasn't being predatory, it was his preference. Because it's pedophilia, if you want to be real, for real, for real. I mean, with technicality, we'll be like, okay, people get older, da 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 da. Whatever. That's kind of why I'm like, in the sense of like, if we were talking about, like, I'm like, intentions are everything. Everybody's not being predatory. But, which is why I said in Tracy Ellis Ross case, it's not a predatory situation. It's a different type of understanding the situation. But I'm like, fucking, and that's the case kind of with some guys too. But like with some men and some women, it's predatory. Okay, we opening a whole different bag. It's not a different bag though. It's not. See, that's the problem. We have this thing where we want to try to make things seem like it's such a big difference. At the end of the day, what I said was we commend Tracy Ellis Ross because she's not going after young guys in a predatory way. Unlike sometimes with a lot of guys, they do go after younger women for predatory reasons because of the simple fact that a lot of guys are not trying to be with women because they actually like women. They like what the world says women are supposed to be to them in reference to their egos, etc., etc. They like the whole that women has and the assets of her body and not really whatever else. So when we're sitting here talking about predatory men, we're talking about all men. Well, all men, possibility of being predatory. Not saying all men are predatory, but the possibility of being predatory. So we can't just sit here and now be like, oh no, we going somewhere different once we start talking about P. Diddy and them. What's the difference is what? That he's somebody who's caught and we got fucking proof that he was being predatory? There are literally a bunch of men, probably even that sit next to you. That's and the thing about it is, what you should ask yourself is, do you say this because you know people who literally are only dates 20 years younger than them? And you feel like that's a preference? Really? Because Tracy Ellis Ross wasn't like, oh, I don't date the older guys. Like, if you older, I say no because you older. I only do younger. I don't think she wasn't saying that. She was basically trying to point out that, like, sadly, the bucket of people her age don't respect her or treat her in the manner she want to be treated. So that's why she goes young. She lets the younger guys take her out. So yeah. And thank you. You could respect my point of view. You could not respect it. I wouldn't care, to be honest. Because for me personally, when it comes to predators and the idea of predators and what a predator is, etc., or anything that's like somebody manipulating or grooming people or anything of that nature, I'm somebody who really just feels like there's this is this and this is that. I don't sit here and be like, some people can, like, I ain't sit here and say women don't be predatory. I ain't sit here and say, you know, whatever, only men are. There's predatory men and women. And I just genuinely think that as someone who tried to even date younger, like as someone who looks young, so the younger people be trying to date me, and I allow them to even take me on one date, I don't understand how people are 10, 15 years older than people and being like, I only want to date people younger than me for 10 to 15 years, and it not be a situation of gender norms that came into this that made it like whatever. Like, because in Tracy Ellis Ross' case, it's like she is from a different generation that isn't trying to understand how women have been able to evolve in society's eyes. Because not in the sense of like who they are. Women have always been these things. But at the same time, the world was not putting us in these lights like it's a thing. So, so I feel like to a certain extent, yeah, I just feel like it is what it is. It's been like that from the beginning of time. Like literally, even before, even with slavery, after slavery, like in general, even in some countries now, or even a couple years in the 90s, 80s, we used to literally make grown ass men marry little ass girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah. And yeah, so yeah, I try to mind my business to the best abilities, but if somebody bring it up, I don't call it out. Like, and it just is what it is. Cause again, if it's a preference, you ain't see, you couldn't say nothing when I said P. Diddy or R. Kelly. You ain't had nothing to say. But oh, it's different. It's not different. They can sit here and say it's a matter of fact, R. Kelly literally had a fucking sign saying his preference was 18-year-old and younger. And younger. And sadly, it was acceptable at the time when R. Kelly was out here. And now with society's evolution, it's not. So in reality, it's more so like, to me, it's just a matter of like, people gonna sit here and try to sugarcoat shit for their own comfort. And I get it. I get it. But I always question too where your mind is. Cause like, again, like, I think the fact that somebody 24 versus me at 30 can still feel like, oh shit, like you didn't grow up doing the same things, you didn't have the same exposure. So depending on how you deductive reason and things like that, are you gonna be able to keep up? That's really a thing. Because you gotta think about it. If over time we have stripped children of certain education and certain things, how are they gonna be able to keep up with things that you are able to keep up with because of the simple fact that you weren't stripped of it? Like, cause that's the thing. These kids are getting stripped, baby. They are getting stripped of their foundational resources to be able to fucking just comprehend life, to make decisions, to understand fact, to understand things that's going on. Well, there isn't, you can't really, some things, so what I think people really fail to realize is that solution, what will be there is no solution to certain shit. There's a balance, and then there's some things that are just like, we have to decide, we got to decide like exactly what is what, right? So sorry, centers just be distracting me. But a lot of things are just, you need the balance of the thing. It's not really a solution or no solution or whatever. I feel like it's a lot of solutions to things too is actually being honest and bringing light to situations. I don't know exactly what is new territory. Because I think that I just kind of tried to prove that like none of this shit is new. I think what's new might be women doing things to people, women being in these spaces and doing things. But I don't feel like it's really new. I just think that a lot of stuff isn't examined or put up in certain spaces or places or pedestals based on where society is about thinking about that group at the time, at the end of the day, or what the motive is. That's why the media, that's why even stuff like this is like risky, because in reality, everything always seems like, oh, this is a new this or a new that or a new whatever. And in reality, shit is not new. It's just redone in a different way, or we put a new spotlight on it, but it wasn't new. It was already still happening, it was already still going on. So only real solutions to shit is acknowledgement and then adjusting and things like that. And when it comes to like predatory things or aggression towards certain things, these are all things based on how you're raised at the end of the day, and experiences you have and how people help you cope with them experiences and things of that nature. Like I literally watched something on TikTok last night where this girl invited somebody over around New Year's Eve, and he made his way over, and she was asleep. When he clearly is drunk in this whole thing, but at the end of the day does not excuse what he did. And the comments were interesting to me because the comments basically were half people understanding that he committed grapes against the young girl, and then there was other half that kept saying she let him in. And it's so interesting because with this movie symbolizing how the devil only comes inside if you let him in, it really shows you how people don't really understand the difference in consent and letting someone in versus telling someone they could come in and you not actually letting them in. So basically, this man pops up at her house after they text each other earlier and she said, come over. When this happens, when this happens, he gets to her crib, and I'm assuming that his phone died. So he kind of was in like a panic about his phone being dead because he's drunk. And this man busts in her door, literally breaks it off the hinges. Breaks it off the hinges. And goes in her room and grapes. And she wakes up to him graping her. And then they're arguing. She's trying to get him to get out, blah, blah, blah. And eventually she calls the police. Please come. He literally in these videos is confessing to the grape. But people are like, well, if he invited her, with the text messages of her inviting him, he was trying to basically, they were trying to basically be on his side. Because he was kind of saying too, like, well, she invited me, so how is this grape if she invited me? And they're trying to explain to him, like, just because someone invites you over to a house does not mean that they are giving you consensual rights to doing something with them or their body. Even though someone says this, that, and the third, it doesn't mean, you know, whatever. And people were literally defending him based on the fact that she just invited him. Versus, like, nobody cared that her door was broken down. That's not, if I invited you, my door wouldn't be broken down. No one cares that she was asleep and woke up in the midst of that. And I feel like it's because, again, we don't want to acknowledge facts. We are uncomfortable about the truth a lot and things of that nature. People do things because people search for certain things. Some people go after younger because they believe it's going to be easier to control or to manage. Some people go after older because they feel like that will be easier to control and to manage and to finesse. And instead of them being honest, they try to be like, oh, it's my preference and I just love them. Some people literally date only light-skinned girls and they try to say that's their preference, not realizing that they could be influenced by some other things in life that has convinced them that that's what pretty is, light. Like, there's so many layers to so many different things. And as someone who literally went to school to study, like, I studied the developments of different societies and different people and how people move and why they move and what we do. I'm telling you, it's really just simple as that. It's just as simple as people I realize people are selfish. That's what they are. And a lot of people are literally just trying to fend for themselves. And that's what it be. Yeah, and still comes from the crib, emotional intelligence and stuff like that. I do talk fast. I talk very fast. And I have a lot to say with a lot of information in my brain. I usually do not talk about stuff like this because I feel like most of the time people discuss things coming from a place of, again, self-serving. They need to feel like they're right. They need to feel like, you know, they need to feel like somebody's right. Because a lot of things to me it's not right. It's not wrong or right. It's gray. But personally, predatory shit, no. That is like, for me, I just think that that's just wrong. Like, I just be like, I'm sorry. I don't get the fascination of it and the fact that, like, people who are kind of closer to your age has more space to kind of humble you and check you because they might have more of a chance of experiencing the same things you've experienced or understanding that by a certain time in life or whatever, maybe if you make these certain decisions versus those ones, you'd have been better off and shit like that. And I realize a lot of people, both men and women, don't be wanting to be held accountable. They want people that they can not even manipulate intentionally, but just be able to, like, finesse around. I said in T. Ross's case, she specifically says in there that she's not somebody who is saying that she doesn't date older men. She said that she prefers the millennials right now because in her experimental of dating, this is what's happening. That's not somebody seeking younger men. If she was saying I'm seeking younger men, she would say I don't give nobody my age a chance. I only prefer younger men. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm at. And that's not really where she was coming from. Oh, fuck. She was coming from more of a space of basically a group of people do not respect her in a certain light. So that's why that's the situation. And that's what's been coming at her. Like, but also, I don't feel like Tracy Ellis Ross, this is just a date, right? This is not Tracy Ellis Ross in a relationship, whatever. She was also talking about how she's not in a relationship with any of these people. She's dating them or going out. Cool. The issue with predators like R. Kelly, even Trey Songz, sadly but truthfully, and others, is that these people weren't like, oh, I'm just gonna go out and get a dinner and we're gonna talk and we're gonna whatever and we're gonna leave it at that. Or I might hang out with you, a couple times. And with adults. They were doing this with kids who clearly weren't even like old enough, but even, whatever. They're not necessarily going about it in that way. That's why I'm saying, to me it's a little different. Because she's not cutting off a whole group of people and specifically only limiting herself to that group of people. And when it comes to the preference, it's like, oh, this is how it's been going for me in this sense. And these are the reasons. And it has something to do with her respect levels of how they respect her. And it's not in a way that's disrespectful to them. Because I also feel like sometimes with dynamics, and I'm saying there's other guys, I feel like there's other men who date younger or have younger partners who I feel like is acceptable. It's acceptable. It's not a problem. Like, I'm not sitting here, and I keep saying it over and over again, I'm not sitting here making this a situation of men versus women or whatever the case may be. So, yeah. Okay, so you need to use somebody up the street. That's what you basically saying? Because I feel like even more with people up the street is even more why I think that it'd be self-serving. Because you're right. Okay, P. Diddy, R. Kelly are celebrities and they have access to do things and get away with it more. But that does not sit here and say that your average man isn't doing these same things. Like, and that's a possibility. No one is sitting here and saying so the guy being said, I got a friend who went overseas, married someone in a complete different tax bracket, basically poor, got married, and they are chilling. So you know what's so funny about this? Let me tell you about how, because my brother is a Colombian, it's a lot of black men who go over there and do exactly this. And he said how it's so funny that a lot of guys think that that's the solution to all of their women problems, when in reality they don't realize, and this is a black man saying this, he was like, I don't feel like the guys who go over there and do that, he don't feel like they like being black and they don't like their black counterparts, like they're black, they don't like black women and they don't like whatever, because in reality that person didn't marry you because you're chilling. You want to know why you chilling? Because the person that you married depends on you for their life. That person in the overseas country is not looking at this marriage like, oh, I'm in love with you because I love you. You think that's the case because they listen to what you want to do and whatever, and you say they don't require much. But the requirement be literally the fact that you're American with money. Like, that was the requirement. You gave them access. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, Beans. If you have problems with women here, you will have a problem there. Simple. And even if you don't have a problem there when you first have it, there is always a possibility that you can. That's why I'm like, I feel like some people, yes, you can fall in love and it be an age difference, it be a cultural difference, all of that stuff. And it is very possible. But then there's other things where it's like, you sit here and you're like, oh, I can't, American women this, American women that, American women this. And then you're like, get you a this and get you a that. And it's like, bro, you literally just went to a country where they don't have what you have. And you think that the person is in love with you because They just like your personality. For real. Y'all barely even speak the same language. And you got them from like, you at a 50-50. It's possible. But you at a 50-50. You at a 50-50. Because they want the certain things just as much as any other woman. You know what I'm saying? It do make you a target, but it make you a target in them places as somebody to finesse as well. Like, it be old ass men that my brother know that be out here trying to like preach about how much they love they little whatevers, and then like once you start learning the language, start talking, whatever. Like, not even that. It's motherfuckers who literally post these women on their page like they're women. Whole time they prostitutes. Which is nothing wrong with them, by the way. Sex workers, Rita's a sex worker friendly type of girl. I do not sit here and think that they're less than anything because they do that. So she not wrong. But the man, I don't know why you flaunting her around like you felt something special, because the girl don't even like you. You are a business transaction. Get it together. Yeah. Dumb passport bros is crazy. And my brother said a lot of times in the passport bro group chats and stuff, they be racist. They be saying crazy stuff about black people and black women. Like, it's crazy. But I really do be like, I'm cool and down with the, like, I think that it's possible for sure. I think it's possible. Like, but I just think that right now in America and in general in society, we're always looking outside of what we already have and we already got going on as if something else is better all the time. All the time. And because of that, that's it. And I feel like with the black community specifically, there's a lot of that happening. There's a lot of like disassociation happening. There's a lot going on. And I give us grace, but it's definitely a lot going on. Yeah. So definitely go see Sinners. Sinners is a good joint. It's a good joint. Not based on love. Yeah, my brother does business out in the other countries for sure. I living overseas is something that I might be doing soon. So that's why I'm like, I'm not somebody who thinks that like, oh, you can't find love over another country or with different brackets. I'm not saying none of that shit. Like, none of that I'm saying. When I tell my arguments, I'm not saying that. But I am still saying what is what. I download Hello Talk. I actually learn Spanish every day. So I got Duolingo, but in general, I've been learning Spanish for so long, and I was in AP Spanish in high school, and then I took Spanish in college as well. Um, I understand it way more than I speak it back, but I don't even see myself living in a Spanish speaking country necessarily. I think if I move somewhere, I might go to the Caribbean in some type of way, depending, because I just like the Caribbean. Yeah. I was learning four languages at a time. I was learning French, Spanish, and Dutch because that's what they speak in Curacao, like mixed together. But then I just wanted to at least get to like I just wanted to at least get to 365 days. So I just stuck with Spanish because I know more. I don't know yet. That I don't want to disclose. I have been looking at certain places, but I don't really want to say where I'm moving next. Everybody can know where I'm going for my birthday. But I don't want to say what, like, the plan is if I move overseas, whatever. I'm about to do probably another career change too. So yeah, it's about to, in the next 3 to 5 years, a lot of things is about to change for me. A lot of things. That's what's up. My brother started in the Dominican Republic. He liked it. It's a lot of development that can be done over there for sure. Yup. But yeah, and it's super, yeah. People love the DR. Yeah, for sure. I also just think that it's not even vacationing. So, like, I think that with time, people have to just understand, like, what vacationing is for them. I feel like when I go out the country, the biggest thing I realize that's different than America isn't even that it's vacationing. It's the importance. Um, the importance of life and longevity of actual life. So I feel like they do more with trying to I think they do more of a job of trying to make sure that you take things a little slower, or that you try to build more of your community or whatever it is. Like, I just feel like it's a slower pace of things, and so the quality of life is a little different and better. Which is why I would want to go somewhere overseas. I feel like to a certain extent, it would allow me to have more space to actually for it to actually be okay. Will do. And see, yeah. I feel like if America would prioritize, like, people relaxing more to keep their brains from going crazy, and not so much. If we wasn't really a capitalist country as much as we are, I think it would be better. But it's so much hustle and bustle all the time. And I just feel like I'm just trying to go with what more aligns with my spirit, soul, and energy. And as the more I am taking more time for myself and not always trying to figure out, like, what's going on with people, or how do I do this, or how do I do that, or can we be this, or can we be that, I realize that naturally I am very lit up, very joyous, very free, very open, very honest, very compassionate. And I think that that energy in itself will literally prosper elsewhere so much better, because it will be a different value. I also want to say that my man's who sacrificed himself towards the inner sinners, I feel like he always sacrificed himself. Like a grandpapa or uncle that always got to do the last thing to make you know that he cared about y'all and he wanted y'all to win. But yeah, all right, let me go because I got to clean up and straighten up at least a little bit and try to low-key go to sleep because I'm tired and I'm just chatting at this point. So, thanks for coming and watching. Child, you are late. I've been spoiling a bunch of stuff. You late, baby. If you ain't seen us, yeah, that's on you. But ain't nobody about to sit here. This stuff been out since April 18th. You're late. Catch up. Have a good night.